Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and a new segment that I call a novel meal. So for those of you who don't know me, I am actually an avid reader as well as a foodie. Many of my favorite novels actually include recipes for the reader to try, so I thought I'd make them for you. Who knows, maybe you'll find yourself a good book in addition to a good meal. So to start this series, I have selected the book Red Sparrow by Jason Matthews. It is the first book in a trilogy, and at the end of every chapter is a recipe that features into the storyline. So I will make every recipe that is in this book as we go along, and I will give you a summary of each chapter. And I also have a whole laundry list of taste testers waiting to try these recipes. So stay tuned to the end and see their reviews in real time.
Pause to read here. Chapter 1 features the old lady's beet soup, otherwise known as borscht. This is a simple recipe that utilizes a few ingredients. I'm only making 2 small portions, so I've chopped up 1 small onion and 1 tomato. This recipe calls for 3 grated beets. I couldn't find any raw beets at my grocery store, so I bought a pack of 4 small beets that had already been cooked. It actually made for easier time grating, but they were a little bit more expensive. But let's get into Chapter 1. Here we are introduced to Nate Nash, a CIA handler for a double agent known only as Marble. So it's late night in Moscow in September. Nate has spent the last 12 hours sweeping the meeting spot so he can collect intel from Marble. He quote-unquote feels the street to ensure no one is watching the location or himself before he meets his agent. The meeting is underway, and while pressed for time, Nate addresses Marble's concerns, letting him know that he can retire at any point. However, the agent knows that more work must be done. As the two walk back to the rendezvous spot, they discover 3 surveillance cars sweeping the area. It is essential that Marble gets away unnoticed. Touching between informants and handlers is forbidden due to a substance known as spy dust, but in that crucial moment, Nate swaps some props and helps disguise the agent. Afterwards, he leads the cars on a pursuit while Marble disappears into a subway. Though he is shaking with fatigue, Nate runs, crouches, and hides, doing everything he can to lose the surveillance teams, but gets cornered in an alley. The driver attempts to smash Nate against the back of the alley and crashes the car, pinning the passenger's side in the process. Nate narrowly escapes the crash using a drain pipe to pull himself up out of the way of the car. The driver stumbles to get out of the vehicle, but Nate slams the door into his head and neck a few times to injure him. While the passenger attempts to find a way out of the car, Nate runs from the alley and takes refuge in a soup kitchen. He orders the beet soup from the old woman at the counter and sits down to eat. After a while, the old woman goes to the door to look down the street, then lets the handler know that the coast is clear. Now that you're all caught up on Chapter 1, let's get to this recipe. So we're starting off with some butter in a pot, and we are going to add the onions and saute until those are translucent. And then from there, we're going to add the grated beets and chopped tomato. I actually really like how this soup came together. It was so simple to make, and this is something that I would recommend to anybody, especially if you're trying to get some more vegetables into your diet. This is a great way to do it. And you're just going to want to stir that all so that the flavors can start to come together. And now add your beef stock. I'm actually using a concentrated beef broth, so I just use a little dollop, and I'm going to add some water to that later. And a little bit of sugar and a splash of vinegar. Basically, you just want the broth itself to have a sweet, tart flavor, and then season up with some salt and pepper. After I added my water to this, I'm going to give it a quick little stir and then cover it and let it simmer for approximately an hour.
So this has been simmering for about an hour. I'm not going to dish it up because it's actually going to be my lunch for tomorrow, but I'm going to taste it right out of the pot. So I forgot to mention an important part of the presentation of this dish. So according to the book, you want to garnish it with a dollop of sour cream and with some minced dill. So I have my little cup set up just as so, and let's give a taste with all of that together. Oh, that just gilds the lily. That is really pleasant. Yeah, I would highly recommend this. Definitely give this a try. If you don't eat meat or use meat products, I'm sure you could swap for veggie broth just fine. And you can always find a vegan sour cream if you don't do animal products at all.
Thanks for watching episode 1 of A Novel Meal. Come back for chapter 2.
So this is my work buddy Jesse. He has sportingly agreed to try the soup that I made for my lunch today. So feel free to give it a little taste.
Okay, and this is borscht?
Yes.
Okay. All right, I've never done beets. I have that history of like I just didn't like it as a kid sort of thing, at least the smell of it. So just
and that's understandable. I mean, I think a lot of people, they'll try things when they're a kid and it's like, you know, I don't care for that so much, but then as an adult, they come to enjoy it.
This is true.
So.
Bottoms up, folks. Wow. Yeah, y'all gotta try this. This is bomb diggity. Holy shizo. So this is hers, but we're gonna...
So he's just taking my lunch. It's a good thing I packed a cheese sandwich. So.
Yeah.
All right.
No, that is excellent. 10 out of 10.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you.